Morning, everybody. Welcome to our weekly market update. Today I have Maddie and Shay with me. How are you guys?
Thanks. How are you?
Chilly? It is a little bit chilly, isn't it? We've got the snow on the mountain for all of you tuning in from interstate. And yes, we've got a couple of days of, I think, 10, 11 degrees forecast. So
yes.
we've had a really warm couple of days. So very warm. Yes, didn't feel like winter at all. And now it's feeling like winter a lot. So anyway, that's... and nearing the shortest day of the year in the equinox, we're about to turn that corner in the next few days. So I'm sure, as they say, the days the cold gets stronger as the days get longer. I'm sure we're about to find that out. So
especially this coming Thursday with short stay for us.
We've got Speak Up, Stay Chatty short stays just in time for this lovely cold weather coming out. So let's see what's been happening in the market. So property management, Maddie, what have we? Still a similar tune to what we've been saying?
Still pretty flat out, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. I love it. It's just we've been very busy, and it's so interesting because usually this time of year we get a lull, and the lull hasn't happened for. We expected it this year because everything, like interest rates and everything are rising, and it hasn't happened for a couple of years now. So it's good. We've got 15 online at the moment. We did a little leasing spree last week and got about 5 or 6 leased, which is great. Appraisals are still rolling in pretty consistently, and they're converting a lot quicker than they were this time last year as well, which is awesome. We've got one coming up in Ramanier. Should be online sometime this week, so that should be a popular one. We don't get Dover ones. People buy property in Dover and hold on to it forever. So they're few and far between at the moment. But it's a lot. There's been a bit more interest, which is also interesting because winter time tenants don't usually like to move house, dodge the rain while you're moving the couch and all that sort of stuff. But there has been a bit more interest the last week or so. But we're still seeing the higher range properties over 500. They sit there for a bit longer and fewer applicants. It's more between 400 and 500. That's the sweet spot, and that's where everybody's looking at the moment.
Okay. So still leasing those properties in the 400 to 500 range. Okay, then applicants applying and
still getting a decent amount of applicants. Still leasing them within a decent time frame, but as in comparison to the last 12 months, it's been like a 2-week turnaround. So we're just back to the standard time of like a 4-week turnaround now. It's been a bit of an adjustment because we were used to the high pace turnaround, but it's still pretty strong.
And it is. Obviously, you guys for everyone outside of the office, it's probably for us changing our procedures to trying to shorten that time as much as we can is something we've been focusing on to try and get the properties up and have them sort of advertised before the people are moving out, having those sort of changeover times shrunk so that way it's a day, a week, however long the properties there's still rent coming in instead of a bigger gap. So
and the key is also the applications. So we just get onto them as soon as they come in, so we can summarise them, and we can have when we do get that great application, there could be a 2-day turnaround where they could be in the property. So trying to make sure that we're prepared for that and don't stretch it out any longer than it needs to be. It's cool. What about sales? How are we going?
We've got 3 new properties online this week, which has been great. So we've got 2 in Ranelagh and 1 in Lucaston. We had an open home for a couple of those over the weekend. They're about 2, 1, 3 kind of range. One of our properties in Ranelagh that's in the 400 to 500 bracket. Did have 5 people turn up on a Thursday, which was fantastic. So more than our Saturday open, which was it's quite crazy. It was really good. It was a 4:30 to 5 p.m. slot just for anyone who might be able to come after work who may not have been able to get there on Saturday. So that was really quite positive. We haven't looked at too much coming up.
No, it's been a bit quieter on the appraisal front.
It has. We've had a few though that are ready maybe in a couple of months' time, say when towards the end of the year or so, but not as many, I guess, coming up over the next couple of months. But we're still one of the highest in volumes, which is great. But we're still tracking along, which is good.
So look at those numbers. I guess touching on the volumes, we've been looking at that a bit over the last couple of weeks. So days on market are continuing to grow. So the average now in the Huon Valley is over 90 days on most of the data points that we're looking at. So that's sort of a big change on where it was a year ago. So
But that's across all agencies. Isn't it?
all agencies,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
properties, yeah. So that's going to be different agency to agency and things, but certainly that's a broad market, and it is nationally. Like more than I think 55% of all properties on the market in Australia have been on for more than 3 months at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's not just a Huon Valley thing; it's a whole country thing. So that is definitely changing. Interesting, our market share still. We felt like we haven't listed much of, and the sales have been good, but yeah, certainly we've still been number one for listings and sales right through for all the months for the year so far. So it's interesting on that market, and as we saw some numbers last week that showed the volume of transactions in the country down 35% on normal sort of long-term averages for the year. So there's just a lot less people selling, and I think part of that of the growth of the prices and the prices not quite being there. There's probably been that whole lot of people saying, "Oh, look, we were saying." So that's actually what it's meant is it's holding up the supply and demand factor. There's still people that have to buy and things that have to happen. So while there's less properties coming into the market, it's actually been quite good. We've got some really good results still, and there's still buyers happy to pay good prices if the properties are priced within a decent range. We're certainly getting a lot of activity and a lot of action. So yeah, some really positive things in the market still, and got some really good buyers we just can't find houses for. They've got quite reasonable requirements, and that's because some of those properties that are not coming to market, and that's right up in the 2 million ranges of 1 million. Like there's certainly not just people looking for $500,000 houses. They've got a lot of those. There's certainly a lot of people coming through interstate saying, "I'd like this, and this," and those properties exist. It's just we don't have any of them, or no other agents have any of them on the market, and it's we've been approaching people trying to find some houses for some of those people at the moment. So yeah, it's certainly so still interest there. 5 on a Thursday night to a new listing just shows there's a lot of people watching the market. They're probably acting if they see value, and if they're not seeing value, they're not acting as much. But there's a lot of buyers out there, so if the properties are in the right value point, and they're looking at them online going, "Oh, that one's worth jumping off the couch for," we're certainly getting a lot of activity on those. So yeah, it's certainly quite a good time as a seller, I think, over the winter months to capitalise on that, while there's probably generally more properties might come in generally in October and November is the two busiest listing months nationally. So anyone wanting to sell between now and then is probably dealing with the volume of these buyers that are here ready to buy, where in that time there's probably a lot more. We probably say this on this every year, but buyers per household sort of numbers, when you start getting into that, it'll probably twice as many houses to pick from for the same amount of buyers in the spring than what there were right now. So that's something to think about as to time of year when you're going to move and all of those sort of things. So,
exactly.
But so lots of interesting data. We've certainly the interest rate, lots of people talking about that actively at the moment in the market with both buyers and sellers. I think the uncertainty around that, we've got a lot of people kind of going, "Oh, is it going up? Is it staying? Is it coming down next time?" And there certainly seems to be a hot topic amongst everybody looking at, and I think the uncertainty is probably the only thing that's holding a few people up from acting, but we're sort of feeling as soon as a little bit more, as the certainty comes, that'll be quite strong. So it's probably a good chance to buy now. While there's been a little bit of uncertainty, because if there is a bit more certainty, we could see confidence and more people get active quite quickly, because it did happen in March and April a little bit there, where we had those couple of months without that. So that's something, if you're out there and you're looking to buy and you're trying to find the right time, I'd say right now is a really good time to look at some of the properties. So anyway, that's just different things, insights into that market. So I think timing now is really good time to talk about potentially selling, even though a lot of people will think, "Oh, it's cold and wet." And it's actually been quite good on lots of different fronts. So while we only had one that until with a few of those opened, some of those were above $1 million, and
Yes,
that's sort of probably more likely to sell. Lifestyle properties, where the bulk of the buyers for them are probably coming from interstate, so the open home numbers generally won't be as high on those. But the other ones that we did have good responses to this week are where the local sort of buyers are likely to be out with the residential type properties. So
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think that's enough to. Well done to Yorinda, first employee of the month. Well done.
Very good.
Friday night in office. So that's she's taken out the employee of the month for May. So that was first one with the team. So well done on that, and I think
Very well deserved.
Yes, doing some great things with our social media, as some of you guys have probably spotted on online already over the last few weeks. So look forward to seeing you all next week on the update. Thanks for tuning in.